Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.virtualracingschool.com and learn why the best use VRS.
After a demanding Magello round of the Apex Racing League Prototype Championship, it was Martial Huber who tamed his tyres best of anyone to take a commanding win and a crucial 50-point lead in the championship heading into the final 3 rounds of the season. Tonight on Apex Racing TV, we head to Aragon for the first time in this series history to see if the French driver can keep up his strong run of form. Welcome to the broadcast. My name is Sam Fitzpatrick. I have alongside me once again Avery McDonald with Joshua Wilkie bringing you this broadcast on our YouTube channel. And Avery, last time at Magello was a really tough round. It was one of those events, maybe like sort of the Charlotte 600, where it's just demanding to get to the end, and it feels like it goes on forever, and it's just an attrition race really, and no one coped with that better than Martial Huber, whilst many of his rivals fell by the wayside.
Yeah, it was a different racing. It was the endurance format, so it was a 75-minute race, and we've seen a couple drivers use different strategies with the 1 and 2 pit stop strategy. It really showed how you're able to save your stuff, because you've seen guys at the end of the race have a flat tire and try to limp their way to the end. So it was a little bit different race for us. It was very exciting with all the we had a little bit of carnage, but we also had some really good passing, especially in the middle part of the field. But we go to a little bit different track tonight, and so I'm not sure what to expect, Sam. I was doing some practicing earlier today, and I actually had a little bit more pace.
Okay. I mean, this is a tricky circuit. I'm surprised you were able to get up to speed so quick. I mean, what was it about the track?
I mean, I was up to pace with bottom of the AMs, but we were, I know I put a lot of time in. I was going to do an official race this week, but I was like, I'm just not quite there yet. I felt like the more I pushed it, the more I screwed up. So I just kind of drove calm, cool, and collective, and just able to have a little bit of pace more than normal, but nowhere near the pace that Austin Campbell has so far.
Yeah, once again, Campbell's gone top of the Pro-Am drives. We are currently in the qualifying session. Let's have a look at what the championship points are like going into this round. Because in the pros, like I said, it's now a 50-point lead for Martial Huber. He's got a little bit of a cushion over the rest of the drivers now at this point. So you can potentially have 1 or 2 bad rounds and still get away with it. He will be hoping at least. And of course, it's really all down to Espes and Co to try to close down that championship lead if they possibly can. Nathan Morstor with a small chance in the Pro Championship as it stands, but will be particularly tricky for him to make up a 66 point deficit. Over in the Pro-Ams, we have got at the moment, Anthony Melguera, apologies, is at the top of that one, but only by 16 points over Austin William Campbell. Those two really the clear favourites in that category. And in the AMS, it's been another couple good rounds for Stathis Kokorogiannis. He'd managed to take another win last time out, and now is 60 points clear of Thomas Mock. So certainly the Pro AMS looking the closest, but the Pro and the AMS could still very much change before the end of the season.
Yeah, still a lot of time left in the season. A couple bad races puts you back into the hunt and back into a big battle, especially with like Hubert and Espes and Austin Campbell. I think he just had a really good run last week, qualified up in the top 5, and still I think he finished 5th. So he did what he needed to do to try to get some more points on the leader there. So I mean, it's just all about being survival and trying to just do the best you can and try to avoid incidents. I mean, that's one thing that Martial Hubert has done. He has just ran super strong. Last week was just a picture perfect race. I mean, Sunday cruise, but it could be different tonight. We're going to a completely different racetrack, and it's going to be an opportunity for, I think, Espes to try to knock him off top of the step and get some points back.
Yeah, and Espes, on the most part, has had the advantage of pace slightly recently. I think he managed to beat Huber in 3 consecutive rounds before that Magella. He was actually leading at Magella as well after a long Huber pit stop. Unfortunately, was made contact with a back marker, and yeah, of course that caused damage and tyres, an issue by the end of the race, and managed to limp home in, I think, 8th place overall. Was not the procedural, 9th place overall, I believe. Which was far from where he should have been, was about a minute off the lead come the end of the race. But at the moment, it is Espes up ahead of Huber. They're both still short of Campbell, who I think managed to qualify up in the top 3 last time out as well. So don't expect Campbell to drop many places before the end of this session. Huber, though, negotiates in this final part of the lap. And of course, we're using the Moto GP layout rather than the hairpin. And that is going to really reduce the main overtaking spot on this circuit, because this straight is massively short, and then the braking zone is almost completely destroyed.
Yeah, that's something we have to look for, and look at Campbell's time still on top of the board, and we'll see what Martial will get here.
Top
of the board, barely.
I mean, 5 thousandths. It's an incredibly small margin. I think that could well be beaten still. But that is a fantastic time, and we have seen these qualifying sessions go really close in recent rounds, and this looks like it's going to be no exception. Huber, though, just as it was last time out, marginally ahead of the rest. But Espes is currently on an outlap. Sandstrom has gone for another quick lap. It looks like Huber's actually gone for another quick lap as well, and many, many others. By the way, top of the AM drivers in qualifying was Thomas Mork. Down in 21st place. I'm a bit surprised that the top AM was quite that low. The Pro-Ams did a good job at beating the AMs. 11 Pro-Ams ahead of the top AM, but Mork ahead of Berti, Lubone, and Kokorogiannis, as has been the standard really this season, with a bit of a weak qualifying, but he always comes back in the race.
Yeah, and Stathis just runs a smooth race. You don't ever really see him get into a spot of danger. So we'll see if he'll be able to try to get another win. I mean, for the AM division, Sam, he's been just picture perfect the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, he has been absolutely fantastic. And yeah, just as you say, picture perfect. Just not been making mistakes really throughout the season, and that is why he is quite so far ahead in the championship as it stands. 60 points clear, so he really doesn't need to do a whole lot in order to come out on top in the championship. But Jesper Sandstrom currently trying to improve. And we've also got this man, Pablo Espes, as well, on a quick lap. So far, a couple of personal bests, but I'm not seeing any purple. Beyond, meanwhile, goes to the top, and that is by a decent margin, nearly 2/10.
Yeah, and that's kind of a surprise so far for the WSR Esports butt kicker team. But great lap, and Pablo Espez always shows speed. We'll see if he'll be able to get a little bit faster. He's had a really good purple sector 3. So he's just running smooth, getting back on that throttle good, and here he comes. We'll see what his sector 4 will be. This could beat it.
What's it going to be? It's second place for Pablo Espez, about a 10.5 down. That lap time from Beyond is absolutely terrific. WSR Esports are the top team currently in the championship, but not by a long way over Wave Italy, so that could be an important qualifying advantage there. About 90 points clear in the championship, but the gap has been dropping. And so that is an amazing time then from Beyond. They can complete the lap that they start, so I think Beyond might be setting up for another lap right now. Actually, this one's pretty quick as well from Beyond, but not quite personal best. It is a personal best sector 3. This is going to be very similar to his previous time.
Yeah, he pretty much had a really fast sector 4 last time around. We'll see what he gets here as he get ready to come across the start-finish line.
Well, it was 700ths off. It would have been good enough for pole position anyway, but it wasn't as fast as previous lap time. So that is his marker down. What are the others doing? Espez is looking very good. Espez is looking very good on this lap. He's currently doing enough Espez to go to pole position. He still needs a good second half of the lap. Hubert looking not good. I think he had a bad sector 2. So I don't think this is going to be anything from Martial Hubert. In fact, it was an improvement, so my timer screen must be playing up. But it was only good enough for P3. What can Espez do? Can he go to the top of the standings? He can! By 600ths of a second. That is the time that he needed in order to take the crucial track position here at Aragon. And he will be a tough man to beat. Hubert is still trying to improve out there. He has got one more attempt.
Yeah, one more attempt, but what a run by Espez. He's on that provisional pole right now, and Kaysan's lap so far, not going to quite have it to get to the top of the board, but has an opportunity, I think, maybe move up in top 5 and maybe get past Campbell. We'll have to just wait and see what he'll be able to run.
Been very consistent so far this season, Kaysan. All top 9 finishes so far in the pro category. And he goes up to P5 on that one, but still just short of Campbell. Bernier improves up to 7th position as well. But it's all down to this man, and he is on fire. This is a fantastic lap so far for Martial Hubert. His first sector was about a 10.5 faster than anyone else. His second sector, though, did leave a little bit to be desired. His third sector is good, but he is currently exactly tied with Pablo Espez. It comes down to this final corner, one of the most demanding corners on the track, and one that the drivers may not be so familiar with. He has to get out of the throttle. He's barely keeping it on, and I think he did push it too hard. He is furious, is Martial Hubert. He knew if he perfected that final corner, pole position was his, but he just pushed the front tires of that Acura a little bit too far.
Yeah, he just was pushing it on the limit, and probably could have maybe knocked Espez off the pole, Sam, but I mean, third place, still a good starting spot. You want to be in that top 5, top 6, especially for the start. The ones that are really hurting are the ones that are, way down the field. Tarashki down in 12th, that pro driver, Moore up to 11th. And remember, Moore's, third place at the points, so he's got a little bit of ways to go to catch back up. But that's not going to help him out with starting, because if anyone's new here, you get points on your overall finish, not on your class, on your overall. So they starting up in that 12th spot's that could hurt him.
Yeah, that will hurt him quite a bit. Welcome to everyone in chat. Jonathan Grabowski asking for more Samuli Kumo. Well, we will try to deliver you some Samuli Kumo. He is starting from last place, so giving everyone else a chance, it looks like, tonight. Jonathan Cook as well, racing tomorrow in the Apex Racing League GT3 Trophy. Welcome, Jonathan, to the YouTube chat, and do let us know whoever you are supporting for this race, and you never know, we might show a little bit extra of them. It's a short formation lap here. I'm not exactly sure where they line up. One would hope on the back straight, but who knows with iRacing. Honestly, it could be right before the start finish line. It could be in the first half of the lap. We're about to find out, and we'll go through the entire grid for this race. And once again, here's Pablo Espes, who has got the most pole positions of anyone. I think that might be his 5th of the season, but it could be the most valuable one. Late on in the championship, he really needs to win these final couple of races, ideally the last 3 races obviously, in order to catch up to Martial Huber in the championship, and he's done everything he can do, and that track position could be decisive in this hour-long race. Thank God Beyond lines up in 2nd place. Fantastic performance from him. He's in great form. Martial Huber, championship leader, in 3rd. Then it's Campbell, who is still chasing down McGraw in the Pro-Am championship. He lines up in 4th. Then it's Caisson, Sandstrom, Bernier, Caracalus, Jocelyn Malgrero lining up there in 10th place. Moore in a lowly 11th. Always fantastic in the race, but once again, Nathan leaving himself too much to do. Is the exact same at Magello. Turoshki in 12th place. Then it's Wilson, Herbion, Origi, Retti, Guzmel and LaRose rounding out the 4 consecutive Frenchmen. Trevette, Crooken, Mork is top of the Amdras. He needs a big result tonight. O'Connor, Bertie, Pavona, Lapalais, Lubone, Sorensen, Byram, Kroll, Kokorogiannis, who leads the Amateur Championship, Cathode, Hankin, Archer, Herbert, Fidelek, and Samuli Kumo, rounding up the 36 cars. And pleased that so many guys gave this a go. I was a bit concerned that people would look at it and see Aragon and say, don't know it, don't like it, not doing it. But the Giants have come out in good numbers.
Yeah, 36 cars here at this track is still a really good number, and we're well ways into the season. But that's what helps, running with the what the IMSA iRacing schedule is. It just helps you, get a good week of getting on the track and just getting a good practice for this big Apex Racing League prototype race. I mean, it's going to be a big points day. The gap between the pros, the Pro-Am, and top of the Am drivers are, relatively slim, so we could see some good competition here. But that beautiful safety car is getting ready to roll, Sam. So not much longer. We're going to drop the hammer and go racing.
Yeah, not long to go. And it's difficult to imagine that lead for Espes going easily. This is not a track that you want to be following either. Sure, the turbulent area isn't too bad, but the slipstream is going to be negligible here. It's going to be one of the most tricky to overtake circuits of the season, so lap 1 is going to be crucial. Can Huber get past Beyond? That will be his main target before he even gets to Espes. I think he'd take a 2nd place tonight with the championship lead he has got after Magello last week. The top 2 almost making contact on the pit straight. They're really squeezing one another, but we are about to get underway. 60 minutes of racing from Aragon, and the green flag is waving. It's a good start, seemingly, from Huber from P3, and he is up into 2nd place, right on turn 1. That is exactly what our championship leader was looking for. Beyond drops back. Campbell trying to hold on against Caisson. There is a collision with Thomas Sorensen further down the order, and Dominic Herbert as well, I think, may have been involved in something. But the drivers going single file for the top few positions. They're a bit side by side with Nathan Moore and Renaud Herbion. Moore with a poor start after a poor qualifying, and it's just got worse for him. Spun round, and that is our 4th place man in the championship with a lot of work to do in these early stages.
I think Kokorogiannis was involved in that wreck, back down into the 33rd spot. Just a huge wreck going into 1. It's just, there's a little bit of bumper action there. Bumper cars there for Caracalis there on the Pro-Am of Austin Campbell, and then Sandstrom still sitting in a good spot, but pretty good wreck in that start.
Yeah, pretty big one. It is a pinch point. It's at turn 1. So we've almost got 3 wide, and we're riding board with Origi trying to make something of this one, and somehow he's come out of that corner ahead. But I can tell he had about 4 cars on his inside. Actually, the likes of Wilson and Co have dropped back slightly. So after almost a lap, this is a long circuit, but these LMDH cars eats it up very quickly. Espes is going to be leading the way under no pressure. Top 3 already with a little bit of a break. Leader of the Pro-Ams is still Campbell, albeit he did lose a position to Caisson. And top of the Ams is now Bertie, because it looks like involved in that lap 1 incident. was Thomas Mork. So our top 2 in the AMs, both having issues on lap 1. I think we might get a replay as well of what happened on that lap 1. And this is with Mork down into turn 1.
It's like on the freeway.
Oh, you know
Oh,
what? He collided with his teammate, with Sorensen. I think this is Mork's fault. He just crowds him, really. Oh, so actually, no, it wasn't Soren. Oh, that was Kroll then. And then, yeah, Kroll just got caught up in that and he drives home to go wide. Bad mistake there from Mork. And there has been a change to the lead as well. Hubert now leading. I think there was a mistake from Espes earlier on in this lap. And that dominant track position that I was boasting about, well, he's given it up.
Yeah, it looked like on the timing and scoring about a second slower in sector 2. We'll see here at the replay here with Hubert and Espes might have had slow down, or yeah, I think he had a slow down. Definitely a slow down. Hate to see it. Yeah, that might have been the case, but they got to get back going. They're about 1.4 seconds back is the gap to first, and now it's time to get going because we know what happens when Martial gets in the lead. It's you get on the Mozart and cruise on away.
Yeah, I mean, the frustrating thing for now for Espes, he's got Bion in front of him. And, you know, Bion's clearly got the pace tonight, but that's still one extra car as well that he needs to pass. He really needs to win tonight, Espes.
Yeah.
If not, he's going to be some 70 points behind going into the last 2 rounds, which, you know, is definitely catchable because Hubert's worst score, well, even Hubert's worst score isn't too bad. So, yeah, again, he needs to close the gap. He absolutely needs to close the gap, and that's not what he's doing at the moment. But he's got 55 minutes to remedy that.
Yeah, Bion is just very impressive. Shows a lot of pace, you know, in the pro class. He's kind of towards the bottom on the iRating spectrum for them, but always shows a lot of speed, but especially here tonight. I mean, sitting in second place, and there's Kason, who, you know, had a rough go last week, up into 4th, moved up 1 spot. Campbell still running that top 5, so super good run for him, and it's good, could be a really good point stay if he can maintain that top 5 finishing position.
Espes going slow again. Yeah. What a mare. What a mare for the man in his home race. Let's see if it seems like he's served it all now. He's down to P4. And he's gone wide again. I mean, I'm not sure if there's going to be a slowdown on that one, but he's really lost his rhythm.
When it rains, it pours. I mean, it is pouring down there for him. Hopefully he can get back going. Samula Kumo just had a slowdown, but he's able to get back going. But, man, it's like everything is going wrong for Pablo.
Long queue of cars back to Anthony Melguera, who's still running in P10. Remember, Melguera versus Campbell for the championship. Melguera with a bit of a lead at the moment. I think it's 24 points. If it ended like this, that gap would be pretty much down to nothing. So Campbell is doing what he needs. And I would say, even though Melguera has got that advantage, you'd pretty much put them 50-50 if you're a betting man for the title. Because Campbell's qualifying pace recently has been fantastic, and his pace overall at Mugello was very impressive. Caracalus has gone wide, and this could be a free position for Melguera, and he will take that one happily. I think that was a self-mistake there from Caracalus, and he's dropped behind Turoshki as well.
Caracalus.
Oh no! Oh, what? I mean, was he trying that?
A little greedy there, but the car's still okay, Sam. He's sitting at 11th place, and it's relatively clean. I don't see any damage on it, so I think he'll be okay. But, you know, just kind of hoping he was just going to make an aggressive move and the other driver would back off. But, you know, block the tires up a little bit.
Gausman just behind them has just lost a place as well to Bion. So was that Gausman maybe trying to go for the move actually, and think maybe wasn't quite able to execute it. So Bion currently in P12. Then it's Krucken and Origi close to one. I know that Origi now getting past Krucken. And actually Krucken having a couple of poor corners, and Origi, well, they're still swapping round positions at the moment in the middle part of the lap. So many sort of half overtaking opportunities here. You can really mug drivers quite easily. It's wide enough is this circuit to go for maneuvers like that, and it's a lot of long corners, and of course these tyres are going to be demolished by the end of the race. This is a tough one stop for the drivers to execute, and so overtaking conventionally isn't going to be easy, but there's a lot of unconventional overtakes you can pull off as well. Just going for some B-roll, so you'll just lose images of the track for a moment. But yeah, I mean, this we saw it at Mugello last time out in terms of the tyres, and this is pretty much as bad as Mugello in terms of tyre wear, but fortunately at least the drivers got 15 less minutes to go.
Yeah, that's what I noticed. It was kind of really surprising, Sam, that what happened was that all the tire wear, like, I mean, these cars usually sometimes they're taking 2 or maybe even no tires, but they're going with the 4 tires. So it was interesting to see how they would do when it goes to that longer race. So we got the shorter race now, so we'll just see what happens here. I still think you're going to be taking 4 tires.
Definitely, yeah, 4 tires is definitely the way to go. Meanwhile, I think Karakalis has almost got past Turoshki. Again, it's that end of the first sector. Very common overtaking spot. Karakalis has done it. He's got past Turoshki. And Turoshki and Melgro, who pretty much race against each other every race in the second half of the season. And the only reason why my mind remembers that is because it's always the purple cars next to one another. So the purple cars racing, but now they've got a green car in between them. And Turoshki's got a little bit of work to do in order to battle his old sparring partner.
Yeah, you know, big shout out. Thanks for pointing that out. Krucken all the way up to 14th place. The top driver that's not an Acura in the Porsche up into 14th. So a lot of Acuras, but the Porsches are they're hanging in there a little bit, but doing a good job in getting up into that 14th position overall. Like I said, up 6 spots, and could be moving up the order a little bit.
There's the driver's best laps so far in this race. You can see the top 2 have really been in a bit of a class of their own, honestly. And you know what? Bion is very close now to Hugh Bird. The gap's down to 1/4 of a second out in the lead. Espez is very close to passing Quaison. Bion is a proper threat tonight. There's no doubt about this. Every lap that goes past is very much consolidating that. Bion currently sits in 11th in the championship. His best result is a 5th. That came back at round 1. That was on like the 4th of January, I think, a month and a half ago. Since then he's had so a 5th, a didn't start, a 10th, a didn't start, a 13th, and an 8th. This is an incredible improvement of form.
Yeah, great run, and I love it. Like I say all the time, I love when we go into the driver's cockpit and just seeing how fast these cars are. Because, I mean, what I like about this track though is it got some slow corners. You know, like, you know, turn 4, 5, 6, all the way to 8, 9. There's some slow corners, so it just shows how these drivers are going to have to adapt to not always just having the fast corners. So maybe that's what Bion is, just faster in those like slower corners, more comfortable with them. But man, putting on a really good effort, still in that 2nd position. And there's Espez making the pass on Quaison, attempting to make the pass, and Quaison just makes way. And maybe he goes for a pass, just kind of swivel the car over to the left. But yeah, you really got to get your car to rotate and motivate this kind of track.
An absolutely mandatory move there. To be fair to Espez, he was 0.8 of a second faster than Hubert on the previous lap, but on that lap they lost a lot of time fighting one another, trying to get that move done. So Espez has made work really tough for him. I think he's got more than enough pace to win this event. But man, if he didn't have those slowdowns, it would be a lot easier for him. Matthew Trivett, we're watching at the moment, currently running in 18th place. He's trying to get past Ryan O'Connor. the only United States of American driver out on track. And doing pretty well at the moment. It's the 2.95, albeit we come into this double left-hander, a common overtaking spot so far in this race.
Up into that 17th position, up 5 overall. So put on a really good run, and here comes Trevette, the Canadian, trying to maybe try to squeeze by him there. I think, you know, Matthews got us a little bit more pace. Maybe not at the last lap, but I think overall he's a little bit quicker. But we'll just see if what's going to happen, because they're both running very similar time, Sam. It's not like they're a big gap, and O'Connor just got a great run there. Let's go and take a look at our good friend Samuli Kumo there, running up in he's back in 4th place, but he's up 2 spots, so we're always gaining here for him. You can't go down the order. So big shout out to Samuli coming out here and doing what you can, get out of the production booth and into the car, because sometimes I get a little scared to go in the car, Sam.
Yeah. It's I understand it can be tricky for some people. I mean, obviously as the BSR Radical Winter Series champion, it's I don't find it too tricky, but I understand that other people may not like doing that, and that's your prerogative. Pavona's got past
as fast as you.
No, nobody's as fast as me now.
Yeah, I mean, nobody is like Sam Fitzpatrick when it comes to getting into the car and driving fast. And speaking of driving fast, this is a battle. Aaron there tried to hold up Julian a little bit, but great pass there for that driver up into 24th place. Up 11 spots for 24th, Aaron there. And then Oscar putting on a really good run as well.
Yeah, he's only just ahead of Bertie. Was fast. Apologies. Maybe he's just got. Yeah, he's just got past Bertie. Apologies. As lap of life, so he's up into 21st place. He's up 4 places from his race start, but with just not a very good qualifying for the Pro-Am drivers. One of the few Pro-Ams to qualify behind several of the AMs. Joining the field is not hugely spread out at the moment. We're just 15 minutes into this race, but I expect there to be a bit of a change of competitiveness as the race goes on with the tyre wear that we have. It might be that the drivers are a little bit faster, some drivers faster at the end of the stint than others. This is Kraken, still up there in 14th place, has got clear of many drivers, including Joshua Wilson and Jean-Thierry Arrighi. But he's not able to pull away from these guys, and the Effect Simulations driver putting a lot of pressure on him. What do you think of the final corner here, Icon? You prefer that version, or do you prefer the hairpin?
Oh, I like the version we got now. I'm not a huge fan of hairpins, you know, because I got really short hair, so I'm a big fan of that this moto version. It just kind of reminds me of the motorcycle racing I love watching. So I think it's cool, Sam, that it's just a little bit different, and it's a little more high speed. Probably not as easy to make a pass into, but I definitely prefer this version. How about you?
Oh, as here comes the move from Wilson. That is nicely done. And he's going to have to cover it off again, heading into the corkscrew. And look at the dive there from him, and that's not going to get stopped. They're both going to run over the gravel. That's going to be a slowdown for Wilson. It's wide for Kraken, and Arrighi will just take both of these guys like it's absolutely nothing. I think the question now is, can Kraken get back past Wilson? Or is Wilson's slowdown not significant enough? Well, Wilson's not even let past Arrighi. The slowdown barely losing Wilson any time whatsoever there, and he's going to make that move after all.
Yeah, it's always been an honor to call a race with the world's fastest iRacing broadcaster, Sam Fitzpatrick. So, just that's the thing. If Sam was racing in these, he'd probably be 30 seconds ahead of everybody. That's the kind of speed we expect from Sam. And here comes a big overtake attempt.
The tight line isn't necessarily the one that you want, and he's very much demonstrated that as Wilson. That arcing line, you can actually take a bit of a late apex at that final corner. And going back to your question from half a lap ago, which version do I prefer? I think I'm not sure, honestly. Like I like the other version sort of because it's such a tight hairpin, And the way that it flows into the next 2 corners means that you can very much set up the move and go for it at turn 1. Like it's very much a corner which extends the battle down into turn 1 because the cutback is so powerful. But it is just such a manufactured corner for overtaking that the final corner. Even though it's a cut through, it almost feels more natural than what the hairpin is. So the jury's out on that one. So Wilson holding on barely against Origi, but here comes Origi again. He's going to slightly get underneath this corner. It's flat out in these GTP cars, just keeping a wheel on the curb and avoiding the 1x there for Wilson. Many of these drivers will be tight to that by the end of the race. They're very close to one another. Onto the brakes, and Origi is getting just about clear. Just needs to be late on the brakes heading into this next chicane, and he might be clear. But still, Wilson is not giving up. Tried to get the cut back there, it does Origi. It didn't work out for him, but all this battling is inviting back O'Connor, who's the next driver to have got past Krucken, who's lost 3 places in the last lap and a half.
Yeah, O'Connor is there. He's right on that, pretty much that gearbox of Origi there. So we'll see if he can make some moves because, you know, Origi and Wilson doing all that battling, Sam, that just allows O'Connor and Krucken to get back up and make it a 4-car battle for the 14th position. So we'll see what he does. I mean, I think Origi's got a little bit more pace than Wilson. So, I mean, but he tried to make the overtake, and Wilson just fought off very well. It was a good, clean battle there. So, I mean, but that just allows these drivers to catch up. We're not even to a third of the way through yet.
Whilst I'm quite open to this circuit, Aragon, you know, some people have dismissed it. It is one which is tricky to commentate on because it is one of the tracks which has no corner names. I do feel like as Apex Racing TV, and I can't remember who it was that I was commentating with, but we basically figured out like all the corner names for Barber, which is another track which doesn't have corner names, and just called one like Spider, one Sisyphus, because of all the different statues that they have around the track. I do feel like we need to have a meeting at some point at Apex and just name these corners. So like we can name them rather than saying, oh, here comes a move into the left-hander, here comes a move into this corner, because I must say after 20 minutes of this race it is becoming fairly tiresome.
Yeah, I think that could be definitely tough. I think a good name for like the turn 4, 5, and 6 is kind of like a Scotcheroo. I think that's a pretty decent name for that.
Okay, yeah, like, we can do that. Yeah.
Yeah. Turn 16 and 17 can be the wheel wiggler, you know, because wiggling the wheel a little bit coming out of there. So as they come out of the wheel wiggler there, they're gonna work their way through the track.
This is fantastic work. This is fantastic work. I mean, to be fair, the one corner which is named is the corkscrew, the downhill right left. So that one's done for us, but all the others aren't. And let us know on chat if you got any ideas.
Oh, Scotcheroo!
Origi is getting closer and closer as they go through Scotcheroo, and Wilson. I mean, you question how long can Wilson hold on to this because he looks so much slower than Origi, but there's just not an obvious place for him to overtake. But I think that's about the 5th different overtaking corner that he's tried so far.
Yeah, it's tough going through 6 and 7, the penny pincher, and not really the best spot to make a pass, but he just really goes for some good attempts.
Why is it called the penny pincher? I don't understand that.
I don't know either. I was going to call it the pincher because you pinch your fingers, but I'm going to say because I'm cheap, we'll call it the penny pincher corner.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
You call it the pincher, but
I was thinking maybe it was something to do with, you know, easy to crash, and so, you know, you wreck your car and you lose it.
Oh, everything's easy to crash for me. I mean, we're going to bin it. If there's a fast repair, we're going to use it.
I think so far, most of these drivers, I mean, thinking of that topic, these cars are looking pretty clean right now. I mean, we haven't seen that much side-by-side action. We saw a few mistakes on lap 1 heading into turn 1. But apart from that, they've been fairly clean. Everyone ahead of these guys, by the way, are not fighting one another. Like, it is quite spread out now in the top 14, really. There's a few battles further back in the pack. Beyond now 1.3 seconds away from Hugo. He's just started to drop a little bit of time. Espes is very much maintaining the gap to the cars ahead. But it's about the tyres now at this point. You know, I think they're going to be pitting around the halfway mark. I mean, if you're beyond, do you pit at 27 minutes and get the undercut and get track position? Because, I mean, that's going to be advantageous. Obviously, you might come out into traffic and that might harm you, but the fresh tyres, that could be a big advantage. I mean, you're talking at least a second a lap.
Yeah, I think you got to do something different. I mean, you can't just do the same thing and expect something different. You know, it's kind of standing. Here they come through the swooper, and I really like the swooper. It's such a fun little corner.
I thought you named that one already, though, didn't you?
Oh no, that was that wasn't the swooper. The one before that's the swooper. That's the wheel wiggler.
Okay, yeah.
This track is so confusing.
We're very much going through a teething process of these track names. But we'll email Motorland at Aragon, probably Motorland at Aragon@gmail.com, and we'll let them know, and they can take it from us.
Right.
Or mistake from LaRose. I'm not sure that was a mistake, to be honest, or whether he was just letting him pass there, but I got very confused because I thought that'd been the leader making a mistake. But Huber gets through cleanly. But yeah, we will email them, and they can use our track names for, I mean, what price? Shall we say 10 grand for them to take the wheel wobbler?
That's one. I mean, I'm all right with that. I mean, I'm just asking.
I mean, 10
for
grand, 10 grand per corner, right?
Yeah, I think that's fair. I think with your level of expertise and also being the world's fastest iRacing broadcaster, that and there's the world's greatest producer. There's Samuli Kumo. He's up to 33rd, up 3 spots, so he's still gaining position. So good job for him.
Yeah, something happened to Lubone. I'm not sure what happened to Lubone. Maybe he pitted. Maybe he just pitted Lubone. I'm not sure. But yeah, he was doing all right. Was Stefano? He was battling for about 20th place, but not anymore. You might get a replay actually of that incident. I'm a bit concerned that he won't get to the end of the race as well. He pitted on lap 9. He will do one less lap than everyone else, so that might sort of help him. Let's see what. Oh wow!
Yeah.
And he did reach the wall.
Hate to see it. I would think he'd be able to make it to the end here, Sam.
Oh, it wasn't a good rejoin.
Yeah, he got that no front clip, and he's just, man. Luckily, I mean, went through the wheel wiggler and just got able to the pit lane. So I mean, if you're gonna wreck it, at least do it in the wiggler, you know.
Matthew Chivets has come into the pits. I wonder if this is the undercut from Chivets. Do something a little bit different. I support the idea.
I support it 100%. Do something different.
Wilson still marginally ahead of Urigi, who's closed back in on him. He gained by a lot of time on that last lap. Also, Nathan Moore, we haven't really spoken about too much, but he is chasing down these drivers. Let's have a little bit of footage of Lafalice and Bidelek and Kroll, because these guys have been battling against one another for a while now, and that's for 22nd, 23rd, and 24th position. Lafalice currently the head of it.
Yeah, I like when you're going through some of these corners, those little super duper deals. It's all about see those rear tires kind of light up a little bit when they're getting back on the throttle, and they got to be very cautious how they get back on the gas there. So good job for these drivers in Kroll, trying to find a way to get up there a little bit. Ugh.
Undercut from Espes. I thought maybe Bjorn would go for the undercut, but Espes has gone for the undercut. He's trying to do something here because he was getting a bit stuck in 3rd place.
Yeah, I like having the option for them to come down and do that undercut because, like I said, if you do the same thing, you're not gonna be able to have. It's gonna have the same reaction or whatever the heck I'm trying to say. Like I said earlier, so I like the undercut. It's a good move by Espes because you never know until you try it. So, but back up to this battle for that 22nd position. They've been throwing a blanket over these cars. And you know what's kind of interesting? It's you take a look at the car manufacturers on those, Sam. All 3 that are in this race. Here comes
Yeah,
Espez.
good variability. I think the Caddy's all right actually around this track. It's one of the better Caddy circuits. Obviously, the Acura is still the best, but it's not that much better than everything else, which is nice to see. I think Espez was getting past Giannis there, so that was easy for him. A little bit of traffic straight away, but he didn't waste any time in getting past. So he's up into 24th place now. He's got 5 seconds of clean air now. He needs some immense laps, and I wonder if Beyond will be the next to come into the pits in order to cover off that early stop and go for the undercut on Hubert. But neither of the top 2 have come in, so it's still French 1-2. Neither of them blinking. Here is Son Cole once again. Still chasing down feed lap. Oh, someone's gone wide ahead. They're almost using the... Oh, that's in the wall, I think. Who was that? Lap of Lice, was it? He's missed that corner by a long way.
This is the swooper section I was trying to talk to, how they swoop in and swoop back out, and we'll see what happens here with Oscar.
Oh no, it's not going to be with the back. I think he's been put off by the back marker.
Yeah, that might have happened going through the swooper. Doesn't hit any. Yeah, it gets into that little access road, and hey, it could have been a heck of a lot worse.
Yeah, without that access road, he wouldn't have gripped up. I think he would have been in trouble.
He would have been parked, and you can't park there.
Zen Plays also getting a couple of good questions, as iRacing said anything about the BAP. Apologies, that was Johnny. About the GTP class. They'll adjust it in the new season. I think they will try to make it more even. But in the end, iRacing will now have different cars be the quickest at different times, so that people have all the cars, which absolutely makes sense and is fair dues from them. But yeah, I think the Acura has had its season, and I think it'll be something else, which is the fastest car next season. And do we have any instant amounts on the field? We could do, but we choose not to. Different drivers could take advantage of knowing how many instances people have it. There's a reason why it's banned, and you can't see it for drivers when it comes to iRacing. So we choose not to spread that information, just in case someone deliberately gives someone else a 4x on the last lap and tips them over the limit.
Sandstrom and Jocelyn into the pits there from the top 8, so they're making right around that halfway point. So this is when you're going to see drivers work their way into the pits. If you're not going to do the undercut or the overcut, you just want to split it in half. So they're going to raise that car up, 4 tires, I'm assuming, filled up with the fuel you need to finish the race, and get back out there.
Pablo Escobar is about to complete his first full lap. And I don't think it's... Oh, as here comes Hankin. Has he been able to get that one done? This is an absolute mess. We're going onto the back straight. I'm not sure who's going to come out on top in this one. Not very happy there was Matthew Trevette. He's already come into the pits and is not racing these guys and is trying to get past them both. He might get one of them into the wheel wobbler. And he'll have to wait till turn 1 to get the other one. Oh, no, he didn't wait. He was just going to go for it straight away. And that's going to be into the... No, he hasn't made it into the pits. I mean, he's basically made it into the pits, Hankin. Come on, mate. Come on, go. I mean, he's given you a helping hand there. He's palmed you into the pits. Come on, get the car fixed and get your pit stop done.
Yeah, I think Matthews done for the day. Yeah, coming through the wheel wobbler there and just...
Oh, yeah, he was coming into the pits. He lifted off. That's why he ran into the back of me. He lifted off and went to the left. So he got in. I don't know. I don't think Elliot's got anything to complain about that. Matthews just helps him in there. He's really made a big effort. Maybe a bit too enthusiastically, but he had the right intentions.
Yeah, you hate to see it for Matthew though, because I mean, you never know, and he ended up just parking the car. So unfortunate for him, he's gonna finish back in the 35th position, but we're gonna move on. It's just hard when you come in the pits. You always should let the person behind you know, whether it's a text chat or whatever, just to especially like for me, when you come to the super speedways, like I'll be racing Daytona 500 soon, you gotta let them know. But Elliot's gonna get back out on the track in the 34th position, but this is the battle we've been keeping an eye on. Oscar and then Aaron, they're coming down in the pits just a little bit past the halfway point.
The undercut isn't as powerful as I thought. I was looking at the times early on and seeing how the drivers dropped time in the first 10 laps of the race. I was thinking, oh wow, undercut's going to be like a second lap. Actually, Huber and Beyond, they're only about 6-7 tenths of a second usually off their best laps. So it's only about half a second really per lap the undercut is worth. So maybe not quite as big as I thought, but some drivers might still work it well. Long pit stop there for more, 28 seconds. 24 seconds is really the quickest we've seen. As the top two do come into the pits, and Jared Cason inherits the race lead.
Yeah, and then Austin Campbell up to second place. So, but yeah, here comes your top two.
This could be close between Espes. I think Huber is going to be all right, but I think it's going to be very close for second place between Espes and Beyond.
Yeah, just was waiting for the time as they come through the wheel wobbler, and let's just see where they're going to be, because at the
long
moment
pit stop.
Hubert's still in the pits, and here he comes.
I think they're just about done it. It was a shorter pit stop as well for Espes, and he had the undercut, but it's not been enough. The gap is pretty much the same as it was, honestly, between the top three, and I'm not quite sure how, honestly. It seemed like some good laps from Espes. I mean, he had a bit of traffic to deal with, but it didn't seem like he lost any time on any of the laps, and he gained time on a couple of the laps. And like I said, he was 4 seconds shorter in the pit box, was Espes compared to Beyond. So, yeah, I'm surprised that didn't work out for him, and now he's got older tyres, and he still doesn't have track position.
Yeah, I like the chance though. I mean, you always got to take a little bit of a chance. But now you're sitting there with Hubert's, a second ahead of or so ahead of Beyond, and then another about a second back to Espes. So I mean, there's still pressure. It's not like last week when he was on the cruise with Mozart. So I mean, he still has a chance to lose it. Here comes Austin Campbell, leader of the Pro-Am division. Currently, and he's really making some moves up the points if he can maintain up in that top 5.
Yeah, Melgrera has already pitted, hasn't he? And so that's the car that he's going to be concerned with. Melgrera, I think, was running in P9 earlier on, a little bit by himself. Campbell, I don't think this is going to be particularly close. He'll be ahead of Caracaulis still, but he will be behind the likes of Beyond. He moves past, Espes moves past, or anyone else. Bertie is the next to come across, but he will be close with Bertie here, who is yet to come into the pits, and he will have to clear that one extra car, but he hasn't really got anyone to fight for position. Sandstrom well behind.
A big props to Stathis Cockrugianis, who's, I mean, in 12th place, still has the pit, but put on a good run. He'll fall back a little bit, obviously, when it comes down to pit, but leader of the AM points, he needed a good day today after a rough little start, and he's really moved his way up the field. So when he gets down into the pits, which is probably going to be pretty, with either like this lap or the next lap, we'll see where he's at. So good run for Stathis, though, as he needs a good points day, even though he's had some really good points days the last couple of weeks, but you never want to rely on a drop week.
Ason, the final top driver to come into the pits. No, to be fair, I say that. Bernier is a top driver. Cason should be in a comfortable P4. I don't see him being anywhere near Espes, honestly. But he will have pressure tyres in Espes, and will fancy his chances at catching him by the end of the race. I mean, unless he goes for a rogue 2 tyre stop, but that would be bold. To be fair, I think Origi went for 2 tyres. So I wouldn't be totally shocked if he did.
Let's see it. I want to see him do something different. Just to see if we can get Wilson into the pits too.
He's taking 4.
Come on, Wilson. Take 2. Take 2. Come on.
There's Cason. And he can still see Espes ahead. He's going to have about 4 seconds to catch by the end of the race in order to get onto the podium.
Wilson coming out of the pits, and Cucuruzziana's right behind him. So let's see what Wilson's going to be able to come out around. He's had a good battle. Still seeing a good points day, you know, in the mid pack, but well, I just like the way he's been running.
Yeah, that will turn into something like P13, P14 when all the pit stops are done. Nathan Moore after a longer pit stop for Moore. Wasn't too long, but took a little bit more fuel just to be safe, I think. He's got Kraken next to overtake. He was running much higher than this earlier on, but had an incident actually at the corkscrew, collided with Joshua Wilson, both of them being able to escape much damage from that. Could well be a penalty though afterwards. I think if it was anyone's fault, it was probably Kraken's fault. He dived it on the inside into the corkscrew from quite far behind and did not get it stopped, and they collided midway through the corner and forced them both to have to go off the track. Herbert is only just ahead of them, and this is holding up Kraken, and he could lose a position because Moore is going to get underneath, and that is another position lost there for Kraken. And Moore will be hoping that Herbert comes into the pits on this lap, so he has got to overtake him as well.
That was a nice play on words there, Sam. Nathan Moore got a little more fuel. I like that.
What can I say?
I mean,
like I'm talented.
I wasn't good at my writing class, so I'm glad we have you.
Well, probably one of the worst moments of my life was when I realised I failed English.
Oh.
And I say failed. I did redo it and I passed fine, but genuinely in school I was quite smart, you know.
Yeah.
I had a lot of respect from my peers, but that test was not good. A lot of gravel on the track around that part. A couple of jars gone off. It's almost a double overtake here from Julien Retzi. He's got one of them. All these guys have pitted, so this is full position, and Retzi's going to go the long way round now on Lewis Archer, but Archer isn't going to give this one up. I think the outside line into Wheel Wobbler is the place to be. It certainly has been so far tonight, but he's actually going to try to get the cut back here, get early on the power, take the late apex, and look to see if he can do anything into turn one. Cafoe does come into the pits after all. Here comes Retzi, and this would be a very satisfying move. He could pull it off. He has done. That was patient driving there, and he pulled the trigger when he had the chance.
Yeah, you did a good job. You do not want to go side by side through. What did I call this?
The Wheel Wobbler.
No. This one right here, the Scott's Road. You don't want to go side by side through Scott's Road. You don't want to go side by side through the Penny Pinchers. So I mean, really good pass through the Wheel Wobbler.
So what was the other one? Wheel Wobbler, Penny Pincher, and
Scotcheroo, and then 12 through 15 is just more of the swooper, because you're swooping in and you're swooping out. So
the sweeper, yeah.
I think we got all the corners covered. But I mean, turn one I think is fine, which is turn one.
Sure.
But we're sitting pretty good with the names that we've given. I'm going to type an email out after this race and send it to my people to send it to other people. So
I'll ask the Apex overlords to see if we can send like a genuine email and see.
Yeah, I'll have my people send to your people.
Yeah. I mean, if not, I'll just send it. You know, like I will do that. But yeah. How hard can it be? We've really demonstrated there's no excuse for these tracks not to have corner names.
Yeah, I have to go through my legal department. So, but no, I think it's a good way. It's a great way of explaining this track, especially not most tracks have names. This one had 2 corner names according to the iRacing page. So, but because I'm looking at the iRacing track map right now, so that's how I do my best. Man, I just love this. It's a fun track. It's a better race than I thought it was going to be.
Yeah, it's been good. It has been good. By the way, that was a move for Troshki to get past Origi in the purple v purple race, albeit it's not usually the purple combo that we're used to. It's usually Turoshki battling Melgrera. Melgrera is up in P10 as it stands, by the way. But we have still got Bernier to pit, somehow, and Guzmel as well. Guzmel will drop behind Melgrera. Bernier, I am not quite sure. I can't remember where Bernier was running beforehand. I think he was behind Campbell. But
Yeah, I
he
think he was around that,
must
yep.
be close to a pit stop now.
I think Samuli's going to come down in the pits too. He hasn't made his way into the pits yet. With almost past the 42-minute mark, I mean, you got to go through and make your way down in the pits. Now you might take 2 tires.
Yeah.
See, Sorensen made his way down the pits.
Yeah, bad news for Sorensen's teammate, by the way. Thomas Mork, he retired a few laps ago, so Thomas Mork, second place out of the amateur drivers. Really, I mean, Coquerel has been fantastic, but, I mean, Mork has been the fastest driver, I think, this season. I mean, looking back at Le Mans, he was running top 10 overall. His pace has been there and thereabouts. I think the Porsche is, you know, varying levels of competitiveness, but tonight's a good demonstration of his season. Took pole in the AM category, well ahead of Coquerel, and yet really took himself out against his own teammates on lap 1. He's only got himself to blame, and that will be the end of his championship hopes, Thomas Mork, and we'll hope to finally get himself a championship. I think he may have won a Porsche Cup championship before in the AMS, but not before in the prototypes. Galsmel coming out of the pits a little bit gingerly, it looks like, but he's out there in 12th position now. He's got Turoshki to chase down.
Yeah, great run by Axel there up into that 12th position. Oh, goes a little wide. Remember, you got to be careful with them cold tires because your outlap, you can really struggle. And definitely, when I had the cold tires, the corners I really struggled with was definitely going through the penny pincher with that slow corner. So, and then the wheel wobbler was just a tough one too. So, you got to be careful when you got them cold tires.
Shouts out to one of our sponsors, Apex Racing Academy. We're coming up to the new season, of course, with Apex Racing Academy, and so this is a good time to renew your subscription if you're already a user, or potentially try it out for the first time if you haven't done so already. Apex Racing Academy, of course, providing data packs for many different cars, single-seaters, GT cars, these prototypes as well. And their track guides and their setups are always super useful. Also, just the fact that the sets come out so early. And so if you really want to get ahead of the trend, maybe if you're a little bit late on one official week, you can bail on that one. And already, pretty much a week before the official series comes around, you can use the data packs and use the sets. So when Tuesday comes around, you are absolutely on top form for the official series. So we recommend checking out apexracingac.com in order to get yourself a subscription. Meanwhile, we are seeing Wilson getting past Origi. That seemed fairly easy. Origi is dropping down the order now. He is struggling quite a bit for some reason. I think he may have only taken 2 tires.
I think he did. I think he only took 2 tires, 19 seconds on the pit time. So with about 15 minutes to go, he's still got some. He's got to maintain the pace. So if he doesn't want to keep dropping down the order, but like you said, the Apex Racing Academy, that's the setup I use all the time. We ran it for our Rolex 24 effort. Took us to a 4th place finish out of 59 GT3 cars. So I mean, it was a good competitive car for us, and definitely had more speed than what we were capable of running. So good capable setup. So I'm very happy to use those when I do get in the car.
Finally, Bernier comes into the pits. 45 minutes. I think that's as long as the tank. Oh no! What is this? A drive-through?
Must have incident penalties.
Oh man, he was doing so well. Oh, sorry, this is Galsmel, apologies. I thought that was Bernier, but I was getting confused between the Delatres cars. So that's Galsmel. Bernier's alright, he's still going. But Galsmel, yeah, picking up too many incidents. They're limited to 20. I expect to see a few more drive-throughs before the race is up.
Yeah, I'll be keeping an eye on the black flags and on the iRacing when we get those, because it makes a big difference, Sam. Especially when maybe you lose a wheel or lose a tire, you know.
Yeah, it compromises your pace for the rest of the race. Look at this. This is getting a bit closer now. Beyond on the back of Hubert. Espes has dropped off these guys slightly, really by the amount you'd expect by the 4-lap older tyres that he's got. He's actually falling into the clutches to case on. He is begging Tankai Beyond to beat Marshall Hubert right here. Beyond is glitching in and out a little bit at the moment, so he's not having the best time of it, and hopefully he resolves that. I might be having a couple of technical issues on the broadcast, but we'll try to resolve that. It seems to be all right now, so we are back, and still we've got Hubert up ahead, but Bernier has come into the pits now finally. I'd expect him to only take 2 tyres, and we'll see if he can come out ahead of Sandstrom. I think that's who he was battling before the pit stops.
Yeah, major shout out to our producer Joshua Wilkie for showing us everything we need and always putting on a good show. So big shout out to him, and big shout out to you too, Sam, for allowing me to say all these weird names for these corners. But that was close between Bernier and Campbell. Here they come.
Yeah, and he's got clears, Bernier. That was a really quick pit stop. He was 11 seconds slower, 11 seconds quicker, sorry, on the pit stop. Had to take barely any fuel, and only took 2 tyres.
Yeah, let's see, he got through Penny Pincher good.
Yeah, and of course now we're in a weird situation where 2 of his tyres are fresher than Campbell's, but 2 of his tyres are much older than Campbell's. I think on balance, he's going to be slower. Because he would have taken rear tyres. There's no way you're taking front tyres because your car will just rotate on an axis.
Catching up
with
to
that
here.
much front end grip. And he's got to deal with Kume nicely here. Kume gets out of the way. Oh, no, he doesn't get out of the way. He stays on the racing line, but he will let them pass into the chicane. And that was good work there.
Needs to get through... I mean, this is the opportunity. I think if you're Campbell, you try to go to the inside of wheel or outside wheel wobbler, and you just pull away, but not able to get as much of the toe as he needs. But I think when you're sitting in Campbell's position, yep, he goes a little wide to the wheel wobbler and tries to get a good run. And yeah, Bernier is just struggling with the tires, and here he comes, tries to make a run.
He's got no front end grip. That is an understeery Delachaz automotive car. And he has got past as Campbell, and that is an extra few points in the championship to his name. And if it ended like this, him and Milgro would pretty much be level on points going into the final 2 rounds of the championship. It looks like it's going to be another fantastic result. I think he was 5th place last time out as well, was Campbell. So and he is once again behind. He's only 10 seconds off the lead. I mean, these guys really are not far away. And that was a very sensible overtake. It was fairly easy, but he had to get it done, and he got it done quickly and without any risk. Still Hubert, 3/4 of a second clear of Beyond, out in the lead with 10 minutes to go.
It's starting to close a little bit, Sam. Sector 2 about a 10th of a second quicker, same with Sector 3. So it's closing. It's about 7/10 of a second just a moment ago, moved up to a half a second. So I mean, if Beyond can pull this win away, that would be a huge upset for how this season's been going, especially for how last week went.
And here is the gap between Beyond and Espes, and it has just been slowly increasing. To be fair, that was 1 lap where it increased particularly a lot, as we're running a little bit wide in these last couple of corners. He's being pushed at the moment by Beyond. He was speaking about earlier on, and Beyond's not even had a top 4 finish this season. He's down, I think, like 3rd to last out of the pro drivers. He's missed a couple of races. It's not been a good season for him, but this would be a phenomenal result and be really good as well for WSI Esports, who are going for the team's title over Wave Italy. The next WSR driver is Nathan Moore down in 13th place, so it's a little bit of a reversal of where you'd expect those 2 cars to be. More got caught up in an instant on lap 1. But the points right now for Beyond are keeping that lead in the championship for WSR. And that could be crucial come the end of round 9 of the season.
Yeah, he's in a good spot. I mean, you're going to push. I mean, you're always going to try to get the win, but if you don't get it, 2nd place is still really good for the team points. So But Hubert just, when the pressure's on, Martial seems to strive and do very well, especially coming through the swooper here. And good corner by him, but Beyond had a little bit better run, I think. We're starting to close it up just a little bit, but you don't want to push the car too much because he pushed a little bit on the exit of the swooper and just not able to maintain the gap. So good job by Martial to pull away just a little bit. You see the sectors are pretty much almost identical there between Beyond and Espez.
What was that corner called, sorry?
The swooper.
Oh, the sweeper. There you go, yeah.
The swooper. Oh yeah, you're swooping in and you're swooping out, kind of like you got a broom out. Yeah, Hubert had a good turn one, and here's Espez. Remember, Espez started up top, and he just had a couple slowdowns. And
do you think he would have won if it weren't for the slowdowns?
Maybe. I don't.
That's not an answer.
I don't know. It is an answer, but not the answer you want. I think if he would have maintained his pace, he probably could have won. But if he would have had some more slowdowns throughout the race, no. He's running a good race though. It still has really good pace. They're running on the same times as top three. So I mean, I think he might have won, but as the race goes, he's in third, and he still's in a good spot in case we get carnage for the top two. But Martial is starting to really pull away. He's doing so good through the swooper, and then I think the really corner he's doing the best in is that penny pincher.
Zenplay is saying, let's go Kraken. Running in P15 at the moment. Chasing down Origi, who took those 2 tires. It doesn't... I mean, I'm not saying if it's a bad move or a good move. Bernier is dropping time at the moment. Bernier, I think, is going to be caught by Sandstrom by the end of the race. He's losing about a second a lap. And he's only 3 seconds ahead. So, yeah, I think Sandstrom's going to get Bernier. So, I think Bernier is going to be about where he would have been anyway. Like, with the strategy that he had, he saved so much fuel that he would have had to stay stationary for an extra 10 seconds. So you got to question, with fresh tyres, would he have saved 10 seconds? Probably, but it's a close one. Often with these, was one strategy better than the other strategy? Generally, it comes down to a handful of seconds, really, and it's just driver specific. Last week at Mugello, it wasn't like that. Like, well, the 1 stop was like half a minute quicker than the 2 stop because the pit lane's so long at Mugello. But around here, it's a bit different where, yeah, really, in reality, it's upwards of 5 seconds difference, I think, between the 2 strats. Oh, as Moore's got past Wilson, he's up into 12th.
Yeah, need a little more of that. Some good passing there.
Feel like these two have raced each other. I get confused between these 2 guys. They're both British. I get confused between their teams. And they've sort of just got very typical British names. They're not even British. Joshua Wilson isn't British, he's Swedish. But I think of him as British for some reason because he drives for Effect Simulations, which has quite a few British drivers. Is the stream down?
No.
Yeah, at the moment on the stream, we're half the screen is iRacing, half the screen is black at the moment. It's a bit odd. But yeah, take your time. It's yeah, it's alright.
But so yeah, I mean, Nathan Moore just putting on a really good run up into the up into the 12th place. Sam, he's putting on a heck of an effort. So real proud of him and his effort. Coming back, he's down 1 spot still, but overall been a really good race.
Yes, that's been a good race. Yeah, sorry for the slight technical issues, guys, but yeah, we're trying our best, and yeah, hopefully we'll get everything resolved. But yeah, still we are watching Bernier, 1.7 seconds cleared now of Sandstrom. And Melguera chasing down Joslin, 0.6 of a second now is the gap. This is for P8. And this is a very important P8. This is a couple of points, but it would be a couple of points to keep Melguera with a slightly bigger lead in the championship. Kraken, by the way, has got past Origi. Origi really struggling with those 2 tyres.
Yeah, that's the one thing I'm noticing with Melguera. He sometimes doesn't have the best luck at the beginning of the race, but still powers through up into 9th place. Great run for him. And here's Caracalis.
Yeah, Origi's just made a mistake, and Caracalis easily passing him. Do you remember what happened to Caracalis? Caracalis got a speeding penalty. He got a 40 seconds hold. He would have been in 8th if it weren't for that. He would have been ahead of Joslin behind Sandstrom. Oh, here comes the move. That is Bernier holding on against Sandstrom, but I mean, this is a losing battle, surely. Sandstrom is over a second a lap faster.
Yeah, you got to battle, though. I mean, you're less than 2 minutes to go in the race. You got to battle. I mean, especially going through the swooper here. I mean, shout out to Bernier. Bernier's got, oh, yep. Not quite the opportunity to make the pass for Sandstrom. We'll see.
Oh, look at the grip.
What a great run out of the swooper, but still Bernier was able to do okay. But here, that's the line you want to be as you go through the wheel wobbler.
I mean, this next corner is so tough on Bernier right now. He's got no front end. 0 front end. Look, he's just turning the wheel and the car just doesn't do anything. Sandstrom underneath them. And this will be similar. I mean, that final corner is just an absolute killer. Other circuits, if this was Monza, oh, he's trying to get the cut back and he spun. He spun Bernier, and that was really not worth it whatsoever. And if that costs him an extra couple of positions, it will be frustrating for him. And it's lost him at least 1 place. Here comes Melguera. He's going to try to get past. Well, this is fantastic news for Joslin. He's been let off the leash now because Melguera was very close to passing him. And Bernier now with degrading fronts, and the rears aren't exactly going to be in great shape either. I wouldn't really want to be going on the outside of him, to be honest, because I'm not sure if his car will be able to turn. Melguera's going to try to do it, and he has been able to get past. Good work, and that's an extra couple of points for Melguera's championship.
Yeah, Melguera wasn't happy with that move. He flashed the light and said, I'm not a big fan of that. He's like, I don't really want to be going side by side through Scotcheroo, and so good job by Melguera to get by him. That's another more points for him, up into 8th place. I mean, talk about, running the best when you can. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Kakarugianis.
Checker flag. Oh, is it checker flag?
I don't believe so.
Oh man, we just missed it. Okay, sorry for interrupting. Definitely the white flag, though.
Yeah, white flag.
Hope everyone's got enough fuel. I mean, Hubert and Beyond put a lot of fuel in. I wonder if they were the only ones who were like, this is going to go the extra lap. There goes Beyond next on Bernier. Turoshki will get past Bernier as well, so Bernier's not even going to finish in the top 10 here. He's lost 4 places due to fighting a battle that he was inevitably going to lose. And he might lose more places here, fighting another battle that he was inevitably going to lose.
Yeah, you got to know when to throw in the towel, You got to know when to hold them and know when to fold them, so. Know when to walk and know when to run. So, I mean, he lost a bunch of positions there, but Hubert just put on a good clinic here. Interesting.
Can he get past these guys? I mean, Espes is going to be... So Beyond is going to be closing in. This could be a close finish here, and they're really slow. This is really not a good position for our championship leader to be in. I think he might just survive this one. Here comes Beyond trying to get into the drafts. the engine sounding absolutely bizarre for Beyond's car, but that's not spluttering. And here they go into the final corner. Beyond's going to try to send it, but I think Hubert's going to hold on to this one through the final corner. And it's going to be another race win for Martial Hubert. It's back-to-back wins. And he takes it after an inspired drive from Tanguy Beyond, by far his best Apex Racing League performance, to finish in second place. Espes holds on against Quaison to finish in third place, but that will be a loss in his books, considering the championship situation. Campbell wins out of the Pro-Ams. Sandstrom will be behind, and Jocelyn Mulgrew finishes in 8th place. Top of the AM drivers is going to be Soren Kroll. He's still got a while to go. He's been caught by Pavona, who was the last driver, one of the last drivers to come into the pits. He's got very fresh tyres, as Pavona is trying to get that move late on. Kokorogiannis, typical Kokorogiannis, managing to somehow get himself into P2 out of the AMS and still on the lead lap, but Kroll wiggling all about. This is going to be a one-corner shootout to see who finishes in 16th place.
What a run for these drivers. I mean, Kroll is just has a lot of pressure here. We'll see what happens if he can hold it. Here comes the send. I'm not gonna just do a fakie. I like the fakie there. I knew he wasn't gonna be able to probably get there, but Soren Kroll, good job going through the wheel wobbler.
Yeah, he's all right. He's all right. It's Kroll. 16th place and winner of the AM drivers. He's been in a good round of form actually recently as Kroll, and I think he might be in with a chance of second place in the amateur standings, I want to say. Well, he came into this round in 7th, but he will close the gap a fair amount with Mork struggling, with Sorensen struggling. Byram did pretty well. I think Byram will be the man up into second place in the championship. And Archer and Caffode as well, the other drivers ahead of him. Already Byram actually completing the race. So, yeah, fun event, that one. And once again, the tyres playing a big part. It seemed like maybe the 4 tyres was the best, but it really depending on whether you could keep your head when it came to the drivers coming back past you in those closing stages. We will get, I think, the final results up on screen. I'll also give a shout out to another one of our sponsors for the series, VRS, of course providing their wheelbase, their wheel rim and their pedals. Do check out apexracingsim.com in order to order your VRS equipment, along with the other equipment we have available. We are now selling Husenveld engineering products as well. So you do go over to apexracingsim.com and you'll see the very best equipment when it comes to sim racing. There is Hubert at the top ahead of Beyond. Espes in 3rd. Quaison was coming back at him strong in the closing stages. Campbell finishes in 5th. Top of the Pro-Ams, then Sandstrom, Jocelyn, Mulgrew, Herbillon and Turoshki. Then it was Moore, Bernier, Krutken, Karakalis, Origi, Kroll, Pavona, O'Connor, Kokorogiannis, Retty, Byram, Bertie, Fiedlak, Lapalais, Archer, Sorensen, Caffode, Herbert, Lubono, Wilson, Kumo, Gausmel, LaRose, Hankin, Chivette, and Mork. Where could Mork have finished? Certainly, I think up in the top, maybe certainly top 15 was possible for him, and he really did need it.
Yeah, you hate to see it for Joshua Wilson there. Had that freeze. He was running such a great race, but the sim had a little bit of issues, but we're looking forward to seeing him next week.
Yes, hopefully he'll be on good form. Hopefully that Porsche will be strong. Let's have a chat with some of our drivers. I am going to check up Soren Kroll first to have a chat with us. Soren, congratulations, man. By my reckoning, that's your first amateur race win of the season. A long time coming. You must be delighted that it's finally happened.
Yes, I am. Also the first Apex Racing League win, as far as I know, after like 3 second places. Yeah, I'm very delighted. I actually thought I had no chance after the start. It was a mess back there. I think Mork got killed and a couple of other guys, and I was banging with like cars 4 times in that lap. And after like 6 laps, Jack told me, it was my spotter, obviously Jack Wells, that I'm like 3rd or 4th in class and that the leader is only 5 seconds up the road. And that's when my attitude shifted a little bit. I was calm, and then we had a good strategy. And after the strategy, we basically knew if I just run at home, I'd won. So yeah. good run, definitely.
Absolutely, and yeah, certainly this season it was overdue, but yeah, congratulations on your first ARL win. I think on your third season in ARL. Yeah, talk us through sorts of this track when it comes to the GTPs. I mean, what was the main challenge for yourself to get quick around the circuit?
Get a rhythm in the first place. I learned the track actually yesterday, and then got to the details today, yeah, in the afternoon, and I had like no rhythm all day long, and then in the race I finally caught the rhythm. What makes it really hard for me is like that you basically brake whilst turning all the time. There's only like 1 or 2 brake zones where you brake straight, so you need to be really careful with the brake pedal, and that was really hard to me for me in a car that obviously has no ABS, which showed in traffic. I had a couple of lockups, really big lockups actually, but yeah, that was the hardest thing, is getting rhythm. Once I gained that rhythm, I was pretty good and could drive it home then.
Yeah, that was a good finish for yourself. You just about held off Marco, who had the fresh tyres. Where was it that? How comfortable were you on that last lap and going into the final few laps about keeping him behind?
Pretty comfortable actually. It's not like that he appeared came up behind me and was much quicker before that. He made a mistake like 10 laps before the end, and I knew that I have the same pace as he had. We were prepared though to just let him by on the back straight because I was already on 17 incidents, and I definitely wouldn't have risked that result for like 2 points or something like that. So yeah, but I wasn't really worried. He also didn't seem to make any radical moves or whatever, so I had confidence in him, and it worked out in the end actually.
Absolutely did. Congratulations on that first victory, Soren. Anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, obviously Jack Wells. That was a great call after 6 laps, saying that I'm P3 and what we should do on strategy, and the whole organization of Beast Racing. We've won the Daytona 24 earlier this year, and hopefully keep going, and thanks for all the opportunities I get over there.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Soren, and best of luck next week.
Thank you very much.
Soren Kroll there, finishing top of the Amsterdam. I was actually up 13 places from his race start. Like he said, it wasn't a clean lap 1 for him, so it was a really impressive race showing in order to do that. Next up, I think we've got Stathis.
Yeah, we got the points leader, Stathis Kokorugianis here. Stathis, take us through that start.
Honestly, I have no idea what happened at the start. People were overtaking before the line. I was very cautious, and then at turn 1, boom, someone like exploded in front of me, and I was very cautious, and it was so bad. It was very, very bad because I was dead last before turn 1. After turn 1, sorry. And it was disappointing overall. I don't know. I should be cheering and being extremely happy, but I am not with this result, and it's down to the car because it's the slowest one out of the 3 that are competing in the series, and it's getting a bit frustrating because tonight you couldn't fight. I was closing on an Acura ahead on the exit of a corner because he had a bad turn in, bad corner entry, bad corner exit, and I couldn't fight him because the Acura is way faster. But maybe this needs to change. But at the start, it was a nightmare. I went as careful as I could. I was very cautious. I checked and I tried to avoid everyone. Chaos, pure chaos. I don't know. I have no idea what happened. It was an eventful race. I changed my strategy mid-race a bit later. I had good pace. I know that I had good pace, and I would love to have fought for the win. I know I had the pace, congrats to Søren for the win, his first win. He deserved it, and also I'm very disappointed again from the same people who are getting lapped and don't get out of the way. I mean, who was it? Alessandro? He had contact with a slower car that wasn't letting him by. He was lapped down, and that resulted in a contact. I mean, it's it's unbelievable, and this shouldn't happen on this level of competition. And so unfortunate for Alessandro. I wouldn't have been able to overtake him because the Acura was way faster as a car. And yeah, it's a very good result for the championship. Extremely good result. I'm not gonna lie, but yeah, bittersweet given how much the car limited my performance. I mean, this is even though I finished way below at Le Mans in overall, I was happier with that performance than tonight, and it's only down to the car. I know I would have done maybe 50 more laps of practice, but yeah, it didn't really matter, you know.
Yeah, it's typical Stathis fashion. Calm, cool, and collective, and still gets a good finish in second place. So you got a lot good points today going into Montreal. Before we let you go, anybody you'd like to thank?
Everyone at the team, of course. They're doing an amazing job. Chris deserved maybe a podium tonight. Did he get a podium? I think he did. He got a. Oh, I didn't know. Yeah, congratulations to Chris. Again, the other guy, Lewis, was again very unlucky. Yeah, on to Montreal. I know Lewis is a beast around Montreal. I expect him to win. He's a dark horse for that race. And yeah, hopefully it will be better, and I will be sitting right here again in a week's time, talking to you and being more happy.
Awesome. Well, good luck to you next week.
Cheers, guys. Good night.
That's that points leader of the AM division, Stathis Kokaruzianis.
Yes, and we'll have another chat with another one of our AM drivers. Actually, we've got the full AM podium in total. Chris Byram now joins us. Chris, good job out there, mate. Third position, good points, and yeah, a good result in a tough race.
Howdy do. Yeah, it wasn't too bad. Really chuffed with the third again. I can't seem to eclipse the third position. And it seems like when I don't do practice, that's when I start getting podiums. So I might not practice for the remaining round of the races of the season. But yeah, it was a bit manic at the start. God, I think both Stathis and I dropped down to sort of last place and then had to work our way back through. So yeah, it was a tough race. I'm absolutely sweating.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, how did you find having to deal with Aragon? Was it do you like the circuit? Is it a demanding circuit? Is it an intense circuit?
You know what? I'd probably say it's one of my favourite circuits of the season. It's the first time I've driven it in a car. I've played it on MotoGP games, so I know the layout. But obviously, it's a hell of a lot different on iRacing and obviously in these kind of cars. But once I got into my groove, I absolutely loved it. It was brilliant. It is hands down, I think, my favourite track. It's awesome.
I'm pleased that, I mean, Motorland at Aragon need to have that as a good testimonial, because this place gets a lot of stick from a lot of iRacers. I'm glad that you're such a fan of it, because, I mean, MotoGP fans love this place with the elevation change, so yeah, I'm glad that it works awesome. I'm glad that it works for cars as well as bikes. In the championship, I think you're up to second place now in the championship. Is that a big aim for you in these closing stages, or is it about getting, breaking the third place curse and getting in the top two? I mean, what are you looking for in the last two rounds?
I'd like to. I mean, Silverstone, I always go well at Silverstone, so I'm hoping I can do well there. Stathis has just got that extra few tenths, if not more, than me, so I think it's going to come down to sort of trying to do my best to sort of help him as a teammate to secure first in the championship, and then I just take each round as it comes. If I've got good pace and I can finish far up ahead, then that's what I'm going to aim. But obviously, win in category is the aim, but it just depends how everyone else turns up in the day, doesn't it? Really, it's a really competitive field, but it's great. It's good fun.
Absolutely. I mean, potentially, you, Stathis, and Lewis could be top three in the championship at the end of the season. I mean, we're 1, 2, and 4, I think, after tonight. So that could be a possibility. Would be very impressive if Kuda were able to achieve that. Is there anyone you'd like to give a shout out to before we say goodbye?
Just the team, everybody in the team, and all the sponsors, and yeah, and a guy I work with, Chris. he's top guy. He might be watching, so yeah, shout out to him.
Awesome. Well, thanks for having a chat with us, Chris, and we'll see you back in a week's time.
No worries. Take care. Have a great evening.
Chris Byram there, third place once again in the amateurs. That is his third place this season. It is his 5th top 5 out of 7 rounds, which is a very consistent result. And like I said, I think he'll be up to 2nd place in the championship after tonight. Looking ahead to next week, Avery, Montreal is the next round. I mean, that is going to be... I mean, we talk about this track being tricky, but I feel like these cars almost flow quite well around this track, being high downforce machines. Montreal with the curbs, that's something that I don't think the cars will like whatsoever. I'm really looking forward to it, though. I absolutely love that track.
Yeah, I think it's a fun track. I always like running with the open wheel cars, but especially when you come here with the prototype. We'll have JR on the call next week. I'll be watching it from the IRL production trailer. Bummer I'm going to miss that one, but I'll be back at Silverstone, so I'll definitely be watching next week, and hope you guys have a good one.
It'll be good fun. And you're back for the season finale, right?
I am back in Silverstone, so I will be back.
Excellent stuff, and we'll see who our championship winners are. By the way, I just looked at the championship, and it is now really close between Mulgrew and Campbell. 4 points is the difference between the two of them. So watch this space. It's going to be a close run-in at the end of the season to see who can come out on top. So do make sure to tune in for the final few rounds of the season. The series returns next Thursday at Montreal. Of course, we've got plenty more broadcasts as well coming up on Apex Racing TV. We've got ARL GT3 Trophy tomorrow. We've got Apex Racing Academy Formula 3 on Saturday. We've also got Radicals on Friday. We've got the new Radicals European Championships on Sunday. I think we might also have the US series as well. We've got Weekend Warriors, loads of stuff over the next few days. Honestly, Fridays to Sundays on Apex Racing TV absolutely filled now at this point of the year. So do recommend subscribing and seeing any series that you're interested in. Of course, checking out the Apex Racing TV and Apex Racing League social medias is a good idea as well. And a thanks to VRS, Apex Racing Academy and SDK Gaming for sponsoring this broadcast and making all of our productions possible. But for now, from myself, Sam Fitzpatrick, from Avery McDonald and from Joshua Wilkie, we are going to say goodbye, and we'll see you back for the penultimate round of the season at Montreal in 7 days' time. See you then.
Are you struggling for consistency in your sim racing? Does your iRating look like a roller coaster? If so, we have good news for you. The way to get more consistent is to first understand what you're doing differently than the professionals. And VRS is the answer. With our competitive subscription, you will have the telemetry, setups, tutorials, and everything else you need to fully analyze your driving. Our data packs and the ability to compare your driving with the best in the world will show you exactly where to adjust your inputs, change your driving line, and shave seconds off of your lap times. And our powerful and precise Direct Force Pro wheelbase and precision pedals are being used by some of the world's best drivers. All these champions agree that VRS hardware is not just the best on the market, it's also priced well below the competition. So if you're looking to upgrade to direct drive and the best pedals in sim racing, VRS is your answer. If you want to get better, get faster, and make it happen sooner rather than later, you owe it to yourself to find out why so many people are switching to VRS. You'll be so glad that you did. Visit www.